Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Peaceful Oracle. This is your weekly Oracle card reading for July 26th to August 1st, 2021. Before I get started, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. One is that I apologize if there's a bit of a background sound. I usually try to keep my videos pretty quiet, but it was 90 degrees, like almost 92 degrees when I walked into my studio today. So I have to have the air conditioner on today. Otherwise, all my equipment will just shut down. So I apologize if there's a little bit of, if you can hear the air conditioner in the background. Also, I do have private readings available, so the link to that description is below if there's any of you who are needing extra guidance or would like to ask a specific question. That information is down below. And last but not least, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment on the videos as it's very helpful to the channel, and I would love to hear feedback from you guys or, just whatever's going on in your life and how the readings are relating to you. Okay, so I wanted to just get started on the energy forecast for this next week for July 26th to August 1st, 2021. It actually feels like a very peaceful week. I feel the sense of calm and peace that's starting to come into this next week. And I think a lot of it was that I feel like there's a lot of you that are starting to be able to feel the effects of some of the releasing, the emotional releasing, the energetic releasing, and even for physical, like there's like a physical healing that's happening for some of you as well. And one of the main messages I heard from Spirit was to make sure that you pay attention to the incremental changes. That I think that maybe sometimes we try to we tend to, I feel like our minds tend to go into this. We want to see changes overnight, even though we know that it doesn't happen overnight most of the time. Sometimes I think like we still we want it to happen overnight. We want things to change. We want things to heal. We want things to feel better right away, or faster than what they tend to happen. They tend to go slower than what we want. And I think that it's really going to be important going into even this next month of August, and even from, as this energy just kind of progresses and we start to morph into this new paradigm. For those of you who are on this path and who can feel this shifting, because the shift is monumental. I just think that it's happening just a little bit at a time. So sometimes it's hard to feel how big the shift really is. And I think that we have to be able to acknowledge and validate the small incremental changes because they are there. For example, I know that I can just use my own example, that if I'm trying to eat better, that maybe wasn't 100% like I completely revamped my diet overnight, but maybe we're not eating as much junk food this month, or maybe I didn't have as much of, it's like not overboard, but it's a little bit by little bit. So those are the kind of things that we can kind of pay attention to as clues to how these changes are happening in our life. I think that was one of the major messages that I got in, and it's just going to be a very peaceful week, I feel like. I also sense that a lot of us are going to start to feel lighter, that I did see that for some of us, even though we might have physically walked away from certain situations or, just things that have not been good for us, that even though there was a physical distance, that, there's a lot of us that are still dealing with possible like emotional or mental, like we're not in the situation, we're not talking to the person, but they kind of live up in our minds, or we can feel the emotional chords. And I'm seeing that for some of us, we're going to start feeling those chords not having as strong a hold on us. That, even if we can sometimes subtly sense, there is this letting go. There is this letting go slowly. there's this energy of that. It's not like we wake up and it's gone, but it's like there are some things that we feel like have had such a strong hold on us for a very long time that I'm seeing that we're starting to feel a little bit lighter, that it's easier to kind of shift back into a positive space after we've kind of engaged with someone that may not be as pleasant of a person or difficult people to be around, that it's easier for us to kind of come back into ourselves. So there's this connection, this deeper connection, a strengthening of connection with ourselves that helps us to become more at peace when we're kind of going out about in our day and dealing with people and situations and work and school with family. So there's this deeper connection as well. I think August is going to be an interesting month. I think for those who, I'm also hearing for August, for those who, and this may not be for you who's listening, it could be for the people that are in your life, the people that have a tendency to run away from having to deal with their own skeletons in their closet or their shadow. For people who tend to kind of project onto others, who kind of tend to deal with things in that direction, in that trajectory, I feel like in the month of August, it's going to be a bit more obvious who those people are in your life. And it's also going to bring clarity for those people. It's going to be kind of like a challenge for them to be able to escape that, the fact that they have a tendency to do that. So that may come into light for those people who tend to kind of run away from doing that inner work. So you may see that in the month of August. Beginning of the week for July 26th. To August 1st, 2021. I am seeing travel, so some of you might be traveling. I'm seeing travel to another country. This is the beginning of the week. Oh, sorry. Leap of faith, gratitude, and appreciation. So some of you might actually come more into contact with like-minded individuals. I think I'm also seeing that for some of you who have been putting work out there in terms of career and business. So for those of you who have been a little bit more transparent, who have been kind of putting that energy out, have been putting that signal out of wanting to attract like-minded people or wanting to attract more business or wanting to attract the things that, took some time for it to really develop. So it could have been something that you didn't see immediate results, or you knew it was something that was going to take some time, that you just kind of had to just trust and have faith that, when the time is right, it will come in. So I'm seeing that for some of you, you might see that there's that reciprocation. I'm hearing validation. So some of you may feel more validated that you're on the right path, that you're going in the right direction. So there's kind of like this renewal. There's this, if some of you have been feeling depleted or feeling a bit discouraged, then I feel like this coming week and in the month of August, there's going to be this renewal or this spark of inspiration or hope and faith in your work and in what you're doing. Or you may remember why you're even doing what you're doing, because I feel like for some of us, if we're kind of doing a little bit something more creative or something different that doesn't yield results right away, over time, it can get easy to kind of forget why you're even doing it or to feel that inspiration. So if some of you have been kind of feeling a lull in that area, that in August, I'm seeing like there's this reignition or this spark. I feel like for some of us, we felt that in July. So in August, that may grow and get even stronger. And for those of us who didn't feel it in July, we'll have an opportunity to kind of be able to pick up on that energy in August. That's what I'm feeling. And I love this. It's bountiful harvest in the middle of the week here, which is really great. I think that August is going to be a very abundant month. But this coming week, I just feel like there's this lightness and a sense of calm and peace. And what do we have coming into the end of the week? Yeah, I'm seeing some of you just really comfortable in your skin, in your life, and appreciating your life for where you're at and what you have. And there's not so much of this comparison or doubt, self-doubt. I feel like a lot of that is starting to clear. Wow, I love this. Clear out the old. Yeah. I'm hearing that there's going to be a little bit more of a separation between those who kind of live in a certain way. To be more clear, for those who live with more presence, and for those who live in a more kind of like this man right here. I think that's a man. It's hard to tell. I think so. Or whoever, this being right here. It's kind of like having that blindfold on, who has a hard time sometimes seeing or appreciating things for what's in front of them. I feel like there's this separation. There's this separating from that energy. Like the division is going to become a bit more obvious. That's what it feels like. And then this beginning in the middle of the week, I love how that kind of goes off of what I was picking up on in the beginning of the week for those of you who are going to feel a bit more inspired with your work. I'm also hearing that some of you are going to be meeting people. Like this is also a social thing. This is also about reconnecting with others. I am seeing that for some of you, you may feel like it's easier for you to put yourself out there, or you may feel like you have a better direction of what kinds of people you want to be around. And so you kind of go to those places, or you kind of maybe take a class in something where you know that it's kind of like this is people who are of like mind. So it's easier to meet people that resonate better with you. So some of you may be doing that. And some of you may be surprised at how quickly you connect with others. And I think that this connection with others, there's something about this connection with others that is going to help you to feel more brave and courageous and coming out of a shell, or coming out more into owning it. There's like this empowerment, this sense of empowerment. And there's also an increase in belief of oneself. So I feel like that increase in belief of oneself will also help you to push forward in your life. So if you're stagnant in your business, stagnant in your relationships, or stagnant in your health, it's kind of like gives this boost of energy and feeling like, okay, I can do this. There's this like, I can do energy coming forward. So I can do this. This can happen for me. There's this positivity and hopefulness to this coming week. And I really feel like in the month of August as well. I really like the second half of the year, actually. I feel like it's much lighter and much more vibrant and bountiful than the first half. And then I think that some of you are just going to continue to see that there is more of like a walking away from just things. And I feel like there's an emotional detachment as well. Like even if there's something you can't physically walk away from, there's just kind of some things that you're just no longer really care so much about anymore. Like even if it's happening, it's kind of like, I don't want it to affect me anymore. I don't want this to bother me anymore, for however that applies to you. And I feel like that kind of unshackles you. You'll unshackle yourself into being able to go into better parts of, a better path. Being able to receive and go after things you really want, where you might have originally held yourself back because you felt tied to, negative influences. So there is this energy of that coming in as well. Okay. I also wanted to pick out a card from the Peaceful Oracle deck because I did really sense that there's this peaceful energy to this coming week, and this deck just felt appropriate. So this is the Morning Calm Oracle deck. What do we have coming up for July 26th to August 1st, 2021? Some of you, I'm also hearing that you may feel like a kid again. That's what I heard. Some of you may feel like a kid again. So maybe not so much with that heavy weight of just accumulated experiences over a span of time. I feel like a lot of you are slowly putting that down, and it's accumulate that the work that little by little you're starting to be able to sense it. I hope that makes sense. Like we might have not been able to sense a release in the past few months because it's like incremental, but now enough has kind of been removed over those small increments that now we're starting to really feel it. So there's this lightness that's coming in. Safe to be. Yeah, I love that. And there's this card as well that came out that I feel like is appropriate. Boundaries. Yeah, and I think that kind of, and I love how the boundaries is kind of on the clear out the old over here. I think that is something that some of us might be needing, is those boundaries so we can be ourselves. So we're safe to feel like we can put ourselves out there, so we can be who we really are. So because sometimes it's other people or other situations that kind of make us feel constricted or feel like we can't really express ourselves to the fullest. We have to hold ourselves back. So I think that is contributing to, there's that belief that we can't be something because of another person, or because of something that's happened to us. And I think that there's this invitation to feel like, well, if I let that go, or if I no longer chose to believe that, or I set those boundaries, because I am feeling like with the boundaries that we could also set boundaries with ourselves, with how much we allow negative thinking and negative self-beliefs to infiltrate our life and our day-to-day. So some of you may be even setting boundaries with yourself, like not allowing the ruminating to take over, is what I heard. Because sometimes there's no end to the ruminating. It just goes in like a big circle, a big cycle. There's no end. It just keeps going on a loop. So some of you may be kind of ready to put that to an end, or ready to just kind of be like, I'm not getting anything out of it. And it really, all it's doing is really draining me. So that might be necessary for some of us. I really like this week. I think it's going to be a powerful one. And I hope it's powerful for you as well. Okay. So I hope you guys all have a really good week. That is your Oracle card reading for the week of July 26th to August 1st. And I will see you next week. Thanks, everyone.